Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my final day off. Now, before I head back to work, guys, I got one more for y'all, and this is a fragrance that a lot of y'all voted to be at the top of my to-do list of fragrance reviews because of the hype, because of the clarity that I provide with my reviews. Hopefully you get it today with this fragrance. Let's go. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel as we head towards 28,000 subscribers. So please continue all your support, guys. Deep dive into my over 900 no hype videos. I got a ton of playlists out there. And of course, shop at our affiliate links below, as well as with the decanters that do help our channel. Thank you so much for all your support. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than the latest Guerlain L'Homme Ideal flanker. This is none other than Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte. Yes, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte. And this one right here comes with a lot of hype. Matter of fact, if you go to the Guerlain website right now, this thing is sold out. All right, it is sold out. And there's a lot of hype in the community, guys. So of course, a lot of people reached out to me, went to my posts, and kept saying, please review this one. Please give us some clarity on why this fragrance is so hyped. And it is interesting. It did draw my curiosity because of a couple of things. Number one, the concept of the fragrance is that this is a fragrance of contrasts, and you don't even need to look at the concept, and all you need to do is to look at the pyramid to see that there are some contrasts within the notes. You have a seemingly high citrus, fresh opener, but then once you go to the mid and the dry down, you have these fall winter style notes. And one of the questions are, how does that progress? How does that happen? and is it even plausible? Is it even a good combination to begin with? Okay, so that is what I will attempt to give you guys today, is a full no hype breakdown on this fragrance and my thoughts overall on this hype designer scent. Anyways, let's go spray this thing right now and find out. Okay, guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, the latest Guerlain L'Homme Ideal flanker for 2026, L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte. Starting with this opening, guys, that is really woke me up right now at like 5 a.m. that I am recording this video. And that's because it's loaded with citrus. It's loaded with lemony notes. Some are bitter and some are glistening. They are together right here to give you a nice wake up like I just had spraying this fragrance right here. And this is the fresh part of Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte. This is the cologne part of this fragrance. And again, here in this opening, you have grapefruit, you have lemon peel, which is the skin of the lemon, which is bitter, in my opinion, and then you have your nice bergamot. Okay, so these all go together. Grapefruit is bitter as well, but is also high on the lemony citrusy facet. And so this intro right here is straight up lemony citrus, with a little bitterness, but that's what it is. This is the citrusy wake up that you will get once you spray this fragrance. Okay, it is a lively opening that you will get in this fragrance right here. Now, this to me did not feel like groundbreaking. Okay, I mean, for me, I was like, well, the premium right here, I would say, is the fact that it's refreshing, it's fresh, it's refreshing, it's lively. That's the positive thing I could get from here. But in terms of like giving me a combination that I haven't seen or something that's really unique, I didn't really get that in the opening right here. So I would say that this opening is more on the usage side, that a lot of people that will use this fragrance will appreciate that kind of liveliness in the beginning. But of course, no special effects right here in the opening. Now, this strong opening dose of citrus to me lasted at the most 35 minutes. Actually, within like 20 to 25, some of the mid notes start creeping in on here, but nevertheless, you still get the nice lemony touch all the way up to the 35 to 40 minute mark. But on its own, it feels like standard issue citrus. I mean, to me, I thought about situations at work, you know, when you're going to the office, kind of like a 9 to 5 job, if you're a consultant, maybe a real estate person, and you want to wear something just lively and positive to start your day. That's basically the opener right there. That is what I thought of the opener. Again, nothing groundbreaking to me, just standard issue, citrus burst, zest, and a lot of liveliness. Okay, so now let's talk about initial sillage and projection of this one. Initial sillage is actually nice, stronger than your typical lingering scent because of the lemony burst. And as you all know, just looking at the progression of the pyramid, this fragrance goes into something cozier down the line, so it becomes a draw-in scent within, I would say, an hour. Okay, but initially it's going to be a nice burst of citrus, lingering or even stronger than that, and then later on becomes aromatic and draw-in. That's the sillage and projection of this one right here. Okay, now let's talk about the mid right here of this fragrance, Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Cologne Forte. The cologne part is basically over within an hour. Okay, so the initial part, like I said, feels like a safe office scent, something that I would wear just personally to get, you know, a wake up. But the interesting part right here is, how does this transition into your typical fall winter notes that we saw on the pyramid? If you've already seen the pyramid of this fragrance, how does that go from, you know, right to left? How does it go from A to Z? Well, let me tell you this. One of the things I appreciate about this fragrance is the gradual transition into the next stages. And not only that, but the way the amounts of each note that's in here is really just enough to carry on that transition, that again we are wondering, how does that go, how does contrast from a very bright lemony citrus scent into notes of incense and vanilla and vetiver, right? So let me tell you guys how this works. So basically, the note that starts coming in as early as the 40-minute mark is going to be cinnamon. Okay, and cinnamon is basically your aromatic spice that replaces your typical pepper, or even like lavender, clary sage, all these like aromatic notes, even peppery notes that come with citrus aromatics. Instead of those, you get cinnamon, which is, you know, let me tell you, it's not peppery. You've smelled cinnamon, guys, and you know that it's sweet and spicy at the same time. It's got its own scent that pops up that is very distinguishable, and that is what slowly creeps in. As you still have the citruses coming around, it's almost like a very comforting amount of cinnamon that rises up slowly, and that is that transition. Same as how you have a citrus aromatic scent, but instead of the typical aromatic spices, it's cinnamon with its own scent. And that's how it creates that kind of comfort right there as you are smelling this fragrance. Now, you are going to get bitter almond as well, which provides some secondary slight sweetness as well as some bitterness right here, guys. And it is a nice underlying almond note as you are smelling the cinnamon. So the word right here I'm going to say is that it's a great, really seamless transition. You know, I thought, you know, how are they going to pull this off going from like this super bright citrus? But like I said, the coverage of that was like around 35 to 40 minutes. And then slowly that cinnamon starts rising in. And of course, the underlying bitter almond. So it is a nice transition in the mid right here. Now, this mid also will get some early incense down the line. And the incense is basically, to me, yet another addition of like more of a body into this mid. And again, it's also a gradual and nicely titrated intro by the incense. Slightly smoky and woodsy, but it's not like overtaking anything as well. And it goes and harmonizes very well with the sweetness, subtle sweetness of the bitter almond, as well as the cinnamon spice going around. So it's these three notes that basically make up the mid, and they do go up until the 6th hour mark of this scent. Okay, and finally, let's look at the dry down right here of this fragrance. Now, on the dry down, vetiver is going to be the strongest note, and it is a transition with the incense. You know, you're already getting that smoky, woody touch, but the vetiver is also its own smoky, woody, and slightly sweet, characteristic. It's got its own characteristic in the dry down right here, and you are going to get some nice, very, very comforting vetiver. And it goes with vanilla. vanilla, which to me is also at a nicely done amount, not overdone, not weak. You've got this nice powdery sweet vanilla that really comes in, with whiffs here and there, and especially at the dry down, that vanilla does shine alongside these woody smoky facets of the vetiver and the incense in the dry down of this fragrance. And let me tell you guys that I rarely say this, but I appreciate the dry down in this fragrance more than anything else. Like I said, the intro was kind of like, it was nice. It was a nice wake up, but it was still not groundbreaking. I like the transition in the mid going into these very cozy notes, but man, the dry down, I just want to chill at the couch, to be honest. Like smelling the dry down, it was so cozy and comforting with like powdery vanilla, smoky woodsy vetiver, very light incense at this point. I feel like the incense is just like a bridge through to the vetiver. The ultimate part of this dry down is that it's just so cozy, so cozy and relaxing, and again, really beautiful. And so this is one of those rare instances where I'm gonna say, you know what, I like the dry down here more than any other stage. And you know what, it starts at the 6-hour mark and it lasts a very, very long time. So you get a lot of the dry down in this fragrance right here. Okay, so what do I think of this fragrance right here, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte? I like it. It's really nice, actually. And I do own, I think, the EDP. And from what I remember, just on scent memory, the fragrance was cozy from the get-go. Whereas this one, obviously called Cologne Forte, gave us a cologne intro, which is very usable in almost any aspect of life. It's kind of like an anytime, anywhere, part with the bitter grapefruit, the lemon peel, the bergamot, it's really nice. But again, to me, it's that transition that I liked, okay? It's still, I would say, the original things that made the L'Homme Ideal line really popular and famous is that it's got really nice gradient comforting notes, which are yet again displayed right here in this fragrance. I really like the intro again, but it was that transition into the cinnamon, into the incense, bitter almond, and then eventually that beautiful like vetiver vanilla and incense dry down that lasted for so long. I'm gonna say that that's my favorite part right there, and it is the best of both worlds. That's why they say in the concept of this fragrance that this is, a fragrance of contrasts. You get the best of both worlds. So with that being said, it's really nice having both a nice wake up that you can use, at work in the beginning, but then man, this cozy part hopefully will not make you sleep in the office because it really is nice and cozy in the end of this fragrance right here. Now, usage wise, guys, obviously this is going to be an AC environment, maybe cool to cold weather scent. I think it's that kind of, just because the mid to the dry down are more geared towards cooler weather. But the intro is, of course, you can wear that in warm and, hot, humid type of weather. But of course, that's only like 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to say that this is kind of like either an office scent or a meetup with other people scent, like a social scent. It could also be a date scent to a degree. I really like the coziness if that is your weapon of choice on a date. But it is very versatile. And to be honest, I can't put this thing in a box. You will have to try it yourselves and apply it in your daily lives to really come up with, the final usage of this fragrance. It is just a fragrance of such contrasts that, like I said, at the intro, I was thinking The Office, and then on the dry down, I'm thinking like, hanging out at the couch, watching a movie, right? Because of that relaxing, very comforting vibe. So it's up to you on the usage, guys, but to me, at least what I can say is that this is an AC environment's cool weather scent to use. Okay, and finally, let's look at the performance of this fragrance right here. This fragrance, L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte, lasted 12 hours to me, which is really, really great. You get a long-lasting dry down with the vetiver incense and that nice vanilla pushing to 12 hours, guys, okay? And the vanilla, like I said, is in such a nice, tame amount. Like it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's not cloying. It does not overtake the vetiver. So you feel the comforting notes of vetiver and woody incense with the vanilla really pushing the sweetness as you are smelling it. Very beautiful, like I said, and you do get 6 hours of that once the dry down starts. So total is 12 hours. Not bad for this designer scent right here. Okay, and finally, let's look at the cost of this fragrance right here, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte, and is it worth a full bottle? Now, in my opinion, it is worth a full bottle because it's very usable all throughout. I mean, I could use this as a wake-up call, not wake-up call, a wake-up in the morning, and then later on, I can use it, you know, as a cozy, comforting scent, really cozy and comforting, which actually might work in the office full-time because, you know, you would have the wake-up and then later on, you'll need that relaxing type of perfume whenever you're probably in a high pressure situation, right? I'm just thinking ahead. But with that being said, you know, this I think could be a safe blind buy, and the fact that it's not that expensive, guys, I think it will be okay because there will be a time and place to wear this in your collection without a doubt. Just like my other L'Homme Ideal, which I just grab whenever I feel like I want to get a cozy perfume. Unfortunately, sold out right now, but you know, the hype will eventually die down and they'll probably restock this thing, okay? And also, I will say this, that the transition is probably the only thing that will, you know, be the sticking point to buying. The fact that there are two contrasts here. You have a very bright citrusy opener, and then you have a bunch of comforting sides on the mid and dry down. If you don't like that, then probably this is not a fragrance for you. That's one thing I can say if you don't like that kind of contrast. But again, based on my testing, the transition is actually very nice. It's very seamless despite having these crazy contrasts between really bright notes and then, you know, fall wintry style notes in this fragrance right here. So if that's the issue, then definitely try this fragrance, get a sample somewhere, or, you know, try it at the boutiques if you can, okay? But I think it's a safe blind buy, very usable fragrance, guys, and very likable to me, again, especially the dry down. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the latest Guerlain L'Homme Ideal flanker, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne Forte. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance right here, especially if you have tried it or did you blind buy it. Are you one of these people that sold it out? You know, you have a full bottle down there. What do y'all think of this fragrance after a few wears? Let me know in the comments below. I would like to know, were you guys okay with that transition? Did you guys like the contrasts in this fragrance? Because that's what makes this fragrance ultimately interesting. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. If you haven't yet, please do not forget to like and subscribe on this video because we've got a lot more coming in. Like I said, I'm going like wildfire right now because there's a lot of scents to try and use, and I'm so excited to give you guys the lowdown on all of them. Okay, so until then, I'll see you guys on the next video. Again, this is Troy D. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. God bless. Take care. Peace.